crap, it's TIE Fighter. I've been waiting forever for this day. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Flashback to 1998. I'm 4 to 5 years old, eating my bowl of Cheerios at our family's table, getting ready for school. But Dad's on our old CRT computer, wriggling this weird gigantic joystick around. There's awesome Star Wars action going on. It looked so awesome, and I always wanted to play it despite my dad not letting me. But once we replaced that computer, I never saw the game again. I didn't even know what it was called, and it just disappeared. Over the years, I heard people talking about this TIE Fighter game like it was the best flight sim around, and I just kind of assumed it was the game I remembered from my youth. But last Tuesday, it was confirmed. When LucasArts teamed with GOG to release some of their catalog, I immediately jumped on TIE Fighter and X-Wing, so I could finally play them and see what all the fuss was about. And boy, they did not disappoint. I can see why Dad needed the joystick though, because it's a pretty serious simulation. The games seat you in an X-Wing or TIE Fighter and throw you into missions expecting you to know all the intricacies of piloting them. Now, there are extensive training missions and simulations designed to get the player used to the many mechanics of these titles, but these are very serious and complex experiences, meant to truly simulate the experience of starfighting for the Rebels or the Empire. It's easy to see now why Luke and Han Solo constantly brag about their piloting abilities, because flying even a lowly X-Wing is incredibly challenging, and it requires constant attention. There's a lot to control and manage. I used a combination of the Xbox 360 controller with a few supplemental keyboard commands, but having a competent flight stick is really recommended to have the best X-Wing or TIE Fighter experience. If you're familiar with games like Wing Commander or Star Citizen or even other flight sims out today, these games should feel a bit familiar, but otherwise it can take a while to get used to. It is worth getting used to though, because X-Wing and TIE Fighter flesh out the Star Wars universe in fantastic ways. In TIE Fighter, for example, the Empire is portrayed not as an antagonistic force, but rather a government trying to keep the peace. Each of the games portray their protagonists in reasonable and sympathetic ways, and even today, that's a really fresh perspective. The GOG versions come with the manuals and strategy guides, which act more like deep novellas than the manuals that typically come with games today, if they come with them at all. These lend to the games a lore that many games today sorely lack, and having them come free with purchase is a wonderful gesture. All in all, X-Wing and TIE Fighter are fantastic packages, well worth the asking price on GOG. It might take a while to get used to, and the large amount of depth comes at the cost of being pretty confusing at first, but there's an incredible world to discover hiding behind these otherwise great flight sims. But there's something more exciting regarding these re-releases that I'd like to touch on, something that doesn't quite relate to the games themselves, but I think it's still relevant. These releases demonstrate that Disney is willing to honor what Star Wars fans loved from back in the day. This shows that they still respect the monumental impact that LucasArts once had. Hey, GOG announced that more LucasArts games are on the way, so that means that it's not stopping with X-Wing and TIE Fighter. We'll probably see stuff like Grim Fandango, Full Throttle, Maniac Mansion, the Gungan Frontier, maybe not that one, but still. This is really exciting stuff, and I hope Disney continues to do the right thing with Lucasfilm's properties and creations. So yeah, support them by buying these. They're great on their own, and they represent something that'll be truly wonderful in the future.